Good morning, you. I'm Sari, too. Believe it or not, I read Genesis already this morning. But my phone decided it was going to cut off. So let's try this again. Back to the old soap opera of Genesis. We left off with Abraham and Sarah. Abram and Sarah. Sarai. And I already wrote down what we're reading. Today is January 23rd. We will be reading chapter 16, verses 1 through 6. See, I got it right here. Now Sarai, Abram's wife, bare him no children. And she had a handmaid, an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar. And Sarai said unto Abram, Behold now, the Lord hath restrained me from bearing. I pray thee, go in unto my maid. It may be that I may obtain children by her. And Abram hearkened to the voice of Sarai. And Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian. After Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her husband Abram to be his wife. And he went in unto Hagar, and she conceived. And when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes. And Sarai said unto Abram, My wrong be upon thee. I have given my maid into thy bosom. And when she saw that she had conceived, I was despised in her eyes. The Lord judge between me and thee. But Abram said unto Sarah, Behold, thy maid is in thy hand. Do to her as it pleaseth thee. And when Sarah dealt hardly with her, she fled from her face. So basically, Sarah couldn't have any children. And Abram's seed's gonna inherit something. So Sarai gets this wonderful idea to let Abram sleep with her maidservant. And when her maidservant got pregnant, then both girls were not happy with either one. And Abram's like, it was your idea, Sarai. It was all up to you. Do you do with her what you want? So I take it Sarai wasn't real nice to Hagar, and Hagar says, I'm out of here, man. She fled. She went back to Egypt, I guess. But I'm thinking. Well, that's how that story's going so far. Yep. But it doesn't say his first seed will inherit. It just says Abram's seed. So, just because it's the first one, that's not guaranteed. And it might not be with the right one. We'll see. Well, there you go. Don't be fooling around. Alright, let's get back to Jesus. I need a lot of Jesus today. I'm going to have to spend more time I spent a lot of time with the Lord last night. A a lot because I had a really rough day. I'll explain all this after Matthew. I need some Jesus. Everybody needs Jesus. Jesus, here we go. And today we're doing, it's January 23rd. And we're starting with chapter 7 in Matthew. And we're going to go down to the first two hinky hink. That's 1 through 5. By the looks of things, it's still the Sermon on the Mount. And these are Jesus' words because it's in red. And we're going to do 7. So here's what Jesus says now. Judge not, that ye be not judged. For with what judgment ye judge, ye shall be judged. And with what measure ye mete, it shall be measured to you again. And why beholdest thou the mote that is in thy brother's eye, but consider not the beam in thy own eye? Or how wilt thou say to thy brother, let me pull out the mote out of thine eye, and behold, a beam is in thine own eye? Thou hypocrite! First cast out the beam out of thine own eye, and then thou see clearly to cast out the mote of thy brother's eye. So, I suppose you could judge someone if you've been there and done that and then quit that, you know. Like I quit smoking cigarettes. Well, if I was still smoking cigarettes, I sure as heck can't tell somebody else to quit. I suppose. If that's what that means by pulling that smoke thing out of your mote. I guess a mote, M-O-T-E, is a splinter. And a beam is a big old chunk of wood. So that was 1 through 6. Doing our Father. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever and ever. Amen. Well, needless to say, the CT scan yesterday never took place. I quit eating at 11 like I was informed, because my appointment was at 3. I had to quit eating 4 hours ahead of time. And I drank water, made sure I was good and hydrated so I could get that contrast. I packed me an egg salad sandwich and a couple of apple slices because I knew it was going to take forever to get home. And I'm not going to go from 11 to 5 without eating, because they'd have never got me home before 5. So I bundles all up because it's only like 10 degrees outside. And I'm scared half to death these guys are going to drive off before I even get there. And they probably can't even find my apartment because my apartment number isn't on there or something. So I'm going to go stand out in the parking lot and wave down every car that goes by. Well, I'm standing out in the parking lot, and I get this message. Your ride will be there between 2:30 and 2:35. So I'm out there standing at 2:37. I get a text message. Your ride's been canceled. I'm supposed to find out if I got a blood clot in my lung today, people. Thank you. So I calls them up. There is no Uber. And there is no Lyft. That's how far out in the boonies I live. Well, the first solution was, now you gotta imagine, I've got an appointment for an IV in a CT X-ray room, probably scheduled for at least a half an hour, if not more, at 3:15, I think it was. It takes a half an hour to get to where I gotta go. So at 10 minutes till 3, I gotta be at my appointment 25 minutes now. Their solution was, well, we can get you a ride to pick you up in a half an hour. Then I gotta go another. So I'm not gonna get there till after 4 o'clock. And these people at this facility are just gonna let me ride in with smiles. So I canceled. I was on the phone for over 2 hours with the Safe Ride thing. I don't really get frustrated, but by golly, it was yesterday. How are they going to find me a ride in a half an hour when they couldn't find me a ride after a week? So I rescheduled my appointments now, the 30th. Whatever that is. And after I get off here, I'm gonna try to be nice to Safe Ride. That tooth is up there in the cupboard, and I am not gonna glue it in. I gotta wait to go to a dentist, so it's just plastic. I have plastic teeth. They're not real. So that's why I got a gap in my mouth. So that was my day yesterday. So I did never eat my sandwich. I was so aggravated. I don't even know if I ate last night. I don't even remember. Yes, I did. I heated up a sandwich. I buy something at the beginning of the month, like a pizza or a big old sub, and then I cut the sub up, and I froze the sub, so I had a sub last night for supper. That was it. I'm starving this morning, and I just don't have the energy. My sputum's starting to be pink, which is not good. I don't like that. I don't know why. Last night I'd get up to go to the bathroom, and guess what I step in? A hairball that's kind of moist and cold. It's a whole 10 degrees out there. Feels like it's 4. It's supposed to get down to -5. Thank God I got groceries. See, at times like this, you gotta look at the bright side. I'm not cold. I'm a little bit hungry, but we can fix that. I know I'm loved. So you gotta get back to the basics with that. I got coffee. I probably really shouldn't be up doing a whole bunch of stuff if you got a blood clot in your lung, but Ain't nobody else gonna do it for me. So then I'm about ready to fire this new doctor. I really am. He ain't even there. They hurt me when they give me that contrast, and I try to explain it to them, and they don't listen to me. They think I'm stupid. They usually use an 18 gauge needle. I want a 22. I want a smaller one. They usually pump 3.3 milliliters per second, and I want them to pump 2.25 because it's not as much fluid. I mean, they can't change the PSI, and they can't, so that's not going to happen. But just don't shoot so much. No, I have no clue what I'm talking about. So I said, can I just get the CT scan without the contrast? She says, let me talk to my team because your doctor's on vacation, I guess. I don't know. So she calls me back. She goes, no, you got to have the contrast with it. I said, well, if I refuse the contrast, are they going to refuse the CT scan? Well, I don't know. You do too, no? You know the answer is yes. If I don't get that CT scan with a contrast, they're not going to even give me the CT scan. She says, oh, well, we care. You don't need a contrast to see a blood clot in a CT scan. You really don't. Well, we care. That's why we want the contrast. Well, if you cared, you'd at least get me half of it. Lying, listen. So I told her, and I even said this. I said, well, I think I might not be using your services any longer. You know, you're paid in full, and I'm really not happy with. So if they would have found a blood clot, then what? Are they going to tell my doctor? Am I going to get somebody new on this resident team or whatever? So I told her, I says, well, yeah, I might be looking for a new doctor after this. I says, I'm not really happy with these services so far. I mean, it's kind of... She says, well, you were referred to us. I said, I picked you. They told me that guy's name. I went and looked his picture up. If I wouldn't have liked the way that guy looked, I sure as heck wouldn't have went to him. So I'm thinking I might fire him anyways just because of that attitude. Pee on my leg and tell me it's raining. Like I don't know what's going on with my lungs because I've only had lung cancer for 16 years. I probably had lung cancer before that Brock even started working there. So anyways, I'm aggravated today, as you can tell. And I was going to fix chop suey, what I call goulash, for one of my persons. And I didn't even get around to doing that. I didn't even get my meat separated. So there's my day today. That's what I'm going to do today. When I get done with this, I'm going to finish that pot of coffee, make another pot of coffee, and put myself in the tub. And then I'm going to worry about eating after that. You know what? I just might take a couple bites of apples first. I don't know. But I know I got to get in the tub. And my chest is hurting more and more and more and more. But it's cold, cold, cold too, so that might be it. Oh, I gotta get on the phone and fight with that Safe Ride. I'd have been better off. I started out hitchhiking yesterday morning. You guys have a wonderful day. I'm going to try to get back on there. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. But thank you, Lord. God will help me. Have a blessed day.